A great part of this tutorial series is simply keeping it real. Anime has a few bugs in it, and I found one just as I was going to do the TV flicker, which caused me to recreate an element in the scene. We had originally created this television vector layer, it was called TV Glow, inside the room build. And then I went ahead and was getting ready to set up an action, and I created an action and went to the timeline. I'm going to go ahead and open this new action, which is just called TV. And when I went to this first keyframe and applied the noisy tweener, what happened is that the program automatically set a noisy tweener for every function for this entire enclosing envelope here of the roombuild.psd bone layer, which meaning the scale, the position, the entire scene started to vibrate. And that's just a bug. It's not supposed to happen that way. And in fact, if I could disclose all the areas over here on the left, as you can with the PC version, you would be able to simply add a keyframe just to the opacity for the layer. I can't do that on the Mac side. So what I've had to do is to go ahead and recreate this layer. I've titled it TV, so it's a little bit different. And I created a new tweener. Now, one thing I want to again call your attention to is that when I click on the room build, we'll see I've got actions for items inside that room build, no problem. However, I can't access the TV action. I actually have to select this layer now to engage that. That's what I'll do right now at frame 1 in our scene. I'm going to go ahead and insert an instance of that. We see the typical cycling action take place there, and we can see our glow flickering there as I scrub the timeline just a little bit. A quick render of the scene goes ahead and shows that we have a nice little blue light haze over here that by itself doesn't show up as clearly as it will when it starts flickering and we get a little bit of motion to help people see that. So know that that change is there and that it's just another one of those little special things. Introduce me to a perfect computer program and I'll be a very happy camper. Well, something else we may want to do, or at least I do, is to add a little colored edge to the side of this chair to help emphasize the fact that there's a TV function going on over there. So what I'm going to do is select chair, double click on this layer, and I'm going to move the timeline back to 0 so that I don't accidentally enter a particular function further down the timeline right there. What I would like to do, and this could be animated, but I'm a little skeptical to do it and add the noise function that we have on the other, is to go ahead and come down to shadows. What I'm going to do instead is let's go to actually layer shading. I'll turn this on. What I want to do for just right now is hide this TV glow so we can see a little more clearly what's going on. I want to go ahead and, I don't want layer shading per se. Let's come to layer shadow. Apply that. Let me do a quick render and see what this looks like. What I want to do is to create a blue cast. We're getting a shadow underneath this, so that's not the one I want. Let me turn this off and come back to shading, which has a slightly different function here. What I'm going to do is change the shading color to this kind of cyan color right here and choose OK. And I want to change the direction here to that. And let me increase the opacity. Right now it's at 50%, and I want it down to something a little more opaque than that and choose OK. I'll click Apply. Let me do a quick test render. And we can see it's turning the chair blue. It's because there is such a great blur option going on right here. Let me change this to something like 2. That's better. It's highlighting blue over here. That may be a little too heavy. Offset, let's change this instead to something like 4. Click Apply. I'll render a test. That looks a little bit better. So this would complement the flickering television color we have. This could be, in theory, animated as well if we go ahead and turn on the animated layer effects. If you have a PC, I would say go for it, give it a try, and change the opacity and create an action with a noisy tweener like I've done before. But on the Mac side, I think I'm going to leave it like that so we just have this little touch of blue as we get this glowing flicker over here. And that's a nice little nuanced setting. So now we've created a glow for our neon sign. We've created a glow for the television. These things that are off camera that help people feel the scene a little bit better. We're ready to move on to our next step.